Now, the 2018 change to mobile-first indexing is a bigger deal than people realize, and this is where things get interesting, because we have to think back about when Google started talking about mobile-first indexing and how they announced they bungled the launch of mobile-first indexing, because at first they talked about it as indexing, calling it mobile-first indexing. But then, when they were describing it, they talked about crawling and how the new crawler was a mobile-only crawler or a mobile-first crawler. And then, after it launched, they talked about it really in terms of rendering and how it was about JavaScript, and the previous crawler wasn't good at rendering all of the JavaScript, but this crawler was. And as SEOs, we know that historically, crawling, indexing, and ranking, and then adding rendering in, those are all separate processes. So why did Google talk about these things all together? Why did it get so confused and so conflated? And you might say, well, Cindy, who cares? But this is where the real story begins. So this is where it gets interesting. Until mobile-first indexing, Google had never rendered JavaScript when crawling. They thought it was a bad idea for their crawler. It was a security risk. It was slow. It was resource-intensive and expensive. So then that begs the question, why in mobile-first indexing were they all of a sudden able to render JavaScript, and then to what extent were they doing it? And so two very smart guys researched this. The one on the left is Tom Anthony, and he found when in his research that Google Mobile First Bot was only executing JavaScript 2% of the time. Now that seems a bit low. The guy on the right is an ex-Googler, until recently working for Google and then leaving to work at a company called Vercel. He was their performance guru, and his name is Malte Ubel. He says in his new role that they researched it and found that Google Mobile Crawler is executing JavaScript 100% of the time. That's a big difference. 98% difference between Tom Anthony's research and Malte Ubel's research. Why is it so big? Let's dig in.